Good morning. Call this meeting of Washington County Commissioners. I'd like to welcome everyone today. We always begin our meeting with the pledge to the flag, followed by a moment of silence. So if you all please stand. Commissioner, I'll ask you lead the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a pretty full agenda today.
Indiana Proud.
One thing we want to do right off the bat is to recognize the youth of our county. And since the secretary shoved the minutes under my nose, we got to approve the minutes first, so we'll do that. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes. If you gentlemen have read them.
I'll second.
Motion made second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And like I say, we want to recognize our youth throughout the county. You know, people read the papers on all these troubles and things they have, but I am really proud of the youth of Washington County. There's been some accomplishments this year, and I know in years to come, and I'm just proud of every one of them. They've just done a tremendous job. Of all the youth that we want to recognize, there's only about half of them here today. One thing the county commissioners want to do right up front is to apologize. But we did not realize that IHSAA has such a thing called a dead week. So you coaches, you're not here today, okay? But we do want to recognize them. We would like to recognize them by passing a resolution honoring all of our students at our different schools. I'm going to ask Attorney Cyphers to read the resolution, and then we'll adopt it, and he'll recognize it. When he does come to your name, if you would, please stand so you can be recognized, because the different schools and the teams represented, because I know they're there. And like I say, we've only got about half of the youth here today. Next meeting, hopefully the other half will be here. It's going to be two pretty full houses. Okay? Attorney Cyphers.
Yeah, and when I do read, if you would stand, and I'll say thank you, and then we'll read the next one. This is a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, Indiana, recognizing and honoring Washington County, Indiana school teams and individuals for the academic year. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, Indiana recognizes the merit and value of lessons learned and accomplishments achieved by its youth through academics and sports. And whereas success in academics and sports, like success in life, results from a combination of hard work, intensity, desire, teamwork, support from peers and family, support from community, and the grace of God. And whereas the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, Indiana would like to honor the following teams and individuals. When I read your name again, please stand briefly. The West Washington BPA won 2 state titles, 4 national qualifiers, and had the school's first national title. Do we have anyone here from there? The West Washington girls softball team for winning sectional, regional, and being the 2012 semi-state runners-up. The Salem High School girls cross-country team for qualifying for Summit State. The Salem High School boys soccer team who won section. Okay, they qualified for regional. East Washington boys baseball team, the one sectional. Jocelyn, is it Mousty? I'm sorry. Moosty. Jocelyn Moosty of the East Washington girls basketball team, who is on the Indiana All-Stars. Luke Perry of the East Washington wrestling team for qualifying for semi-state. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, Indiana formally wishes to recognize the special combination of those virtues achieved by these players and students, along with their coaches and families, and to express the pride that Washington County has in them for their accomplishments as a team. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of Washington County, Indiana, that the above listed teams should not only be recognized for their academic and athletic achievements this year, but honored along with their families for the example they set by their virtues of hard work, intensity, persistence, sportsmanship, and teamwork, and for the pride they have given to all of us in Washington County, Indiana. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to pass this resolution of the Board of Commissioners.
Commissioners, you've heard our attorney read the resolution. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Motion been made and seconded to adopt this resolution. All those in favor, raise your right hand. And gentlemen, I guess there wasn't any ladies in the bunch, was it?
Yeah.
You will be receiving certificates. We're gonna have the other half hopefully here at the next meeting. And it's going to be 34 rooms. So we really appreciate it. And thank you so much. And we just want you to know that we're all very proud of you. Thanks.
Yeah, if anybody wants pictures
Does anybody want pictures?
for the commissioners, go ahead.
If you do, we'll go ahead.
They're gonna say, go ahead.
Okay. Where do you want us and where do you want us? Who do you want? Baseball, soccer? Soccer team.
There you go.
We're looking first. Right or left? Let's go right. Let's go right.
Say cheese.
Cheese.
I'll take several pictures. That's because it's really hard to get good pictures of the county commissioners. Not you young guys. It's these.
Thanks, Marcia.
Yeah, well, that's okay. You guys give me a hard time. Okay, 1, 2, 3. All right, do another. Okay. This was soccer, right?
Baseball team.
Come on up, baby. Is that it?
Do you want me to email you names?
Yeah, where do I find, here's this.
Yes.
Yeah, it'd be real helpful if you could help me, I do that too. And email.
I'll just give you my home email just because summer I'm on my home more than I am
Okay.
my office. And I took a picture with my cell phone, so I should be able to line them out
Give me
for
your
you.
phone. So I may just have it.
Okay. Okay.
All right, a couple of you guys down in person. Couple of you guys get down in the
Now, Marcia, we've got baseball team and wrestler.
Okay. All right.
He did a pretty good thing.
Okay.
Once they
That was
arrested
you. Okay. All right. All right. Everybody look this way. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, Eastern baseball,
And wrestling.
where's the wrestler?
The one with the beard.
Let me get your name. T-E-R-R-Y? Okay, Luke, thanks.
Did you do Luke individually?
She should have, I told her she should, but it's better to send us.
Okay, well, I just didn't know if he was mixed in with baseball. He was.
He was.
Okay. Because he's also.
He's gonna ride it.
All right. Oh, and after you said there's no girls present.
This is,
This is the golfers.
Which,
Jalen Brown. J-A-L-E-N.
J-A-Y.
Oh, he's J-A-Y. He's trying to change his spelling.
which high school?
I'll tell you what, we want lessons. Free lessons.
All right, are you ready? This doesn't hurt.
Yeah, it does.
We got you. Am I gonna be in the way of your camera?
Nope, you'll be fine.
Next meeting in 2 weeks, we'll have the other half of the county, Marcia, so keep your camera handy.
All right.
We'll have the girls softball team who can be here. We didn't know, I didn't know until this morning when Tom informed us there is such a thing as Dead Week, and I just said, hey, really, I didn't know that.
That's okay, it wasn't a practice.
Yeah, it wasn't a practice, and I don't think any coach is talking about practice, so we're okay. We don't. Okay, now for some other things that we need to get taken care of, and, this is a public hearing on the town of Fredericksburg, and how many folks do we have here from Fredericksburg?
Okay, if you want to speak on the dissolution, I would ask you to sign that sign-in sheet over there.
Okay, Tom, I'm to read this opening and then go from there. We are now beginning our public hearing on the proposed dissolution of the town of Fredericksburg. Formal legal action to initiate dissolution of the town began April 2nd, 2012, with the signing of a resolution of the Town Council of Fredericksburg to institute proceedings for the dissolution of the town of Fredericksburg, followed by a public hearing and the passage of an ordinance of the Town Council of Fredericksburg to dissolve the town of Fredericksburg that same day. These steps were taken pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-5-1.1-10.5. The signed resolution and ordinance were then filed with the county commissioners by the service upon our legal counsel, Thomas Cyphers, on April 26, 2012. We advised the public of these developments and discussed these developments in open meeting of the commissioners pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-5-1.1-4. The county commissioners forward the resolution to the Washington County Plan Commission for review, consideration, and recommendation. At its public meeting on May the 7th, 2012, the Washington County Plan Commission reviewed the proposed dissolution and discussed the impact on the planning function of the county, and the multiple other aspects relating to the dissolution of a local governmental unit and its incorporation into the existing jurisdiction of Washington County. By a vote of 8-0, the Washington County Planning Commission signed a formal recommendation to the Board of Commissioners that the proposed dissolution be approved. That recommendation has been presented to us today and will now be kept on file with the Washington County Auditor. Today's public hearing is required pursuant to Indiana Code Section 36-5-1.1-3. And pursuant to Section 6, it is for us, as the Board of Commissioners, to hear and determine the petition and render a decision on the question of dissolution. We will start with a formal reading of the actual petition and then move to comments by the audience. We ask that if you wish to speak, you be signed in, and that's over on the table. We will take speakers in the order they are signed. Comments are to be linked to 3 minutes per person. If you have not signed in and wish to speak, please do so now. Is everybody signed in that wants to speak? Okay. Attorney Cyphers, would you read the resolution passed by the Town Council of Fredericksburg?
Yes, thank you. A resolution of the Town Council of Fredericksburg to institute proceedings for the dissolution of the Town of Fredericksburg. Whereas the Town of Fredericksburg, hereinafter referred to as Fredericksburg, by and through the Town Council of Fredericksburg, and hereinafter referred to as Council, is a town with a population of less than 500, meeting the definition of applicability under Indiana Code 36-5-1.1-A or -1A1. Whereas Indiana Code 36-5-1.12A1 allows a town to initiate proceeds to dissolve itself by adopting a resolution requesting dissolution. Whereas the town of Fredericksburg has steadily lost population and is no longer viable to remain an incorporated town. And whereas requirements for the resolution are contained within Indiana Code Section 36-5-1.1-10.5. Now therefore be it ordained by the town of Fredericksburg as follows. Section 1, a formal request for dissolution. The Town Council of Fredericksburg formally requests the dissolution of the town of Fredericksburg. Section 2, public hearing and publication. There shall be a notice of public hearing published in accordance with Indiana Code 531. The Town Council hereby sets a public hearing this is regarding a public hearing that they have, not this current public hearing, at the Fredericksburg Town Hall at 3 o'clock p.m. concerning the dissolution of the town of Fredericksburg. At the hearing, the Town Council will hear statements presented in favor or opposition to the dissolution. At the hearing, the Town Council may adopt an ordinance to dissolve the town at the conclusion of the hearing and other purposes which are deemed by the Clerk Treasurer to directly relate to promotion or betterment of the city. It is so resolved the 12th day of April, 2012, and it's signed by 2 of the 3 members of the Town Council. And then upon that public hearing, they did pass an ordinance which states the same thing. They passed an ordinance recommending the dissolution and ordaining that the town should be dissolved at the conclusion of their public hearing. Is that the correct nature of the proceeding? So on the same day, they had a resolution which expresses their opinion that should happen, and then they passed an ordinance. And that's what initiated these proceedings and brings us here today. And then do you have the list there?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially what we have is we've met all the requirements. Auditor Bachman, I have passed down for you the opinion and recommendation of the Plan Commission recommending that this petition be accepted, or not, I just keep saying petition, the resolution be accepted, and that the Board of Commissioners adopt their proposed resolution. So with that said, the next step is to call on members of the public to express their opinions, and then from you as county commissioners to have your own discussion, public discussion, and make a determination.
Okay. Then we'll go down the list just as it's stated in my introduction to this. And I'm going to try to read your name here. Hugh Byrne?
Yeah. two separate audit periods. Okay, generally speaking, a county commissioner or county commissioner do not spend a lot of time looking at a state board of accounts audit report. They can be confusing and boring and et cetera, et cetera. The only thing that really makes a big difference in a county commissioner that's served for a while knows that when it gets to the comment section. The comment section allows you to review. It's like a report card. It tells you what procedures you have accidentally done wrong or need to improve on. If you'll notice on the one audit sheet got dated January 1st, 2001, December 31st, 2005, the town of Fredericksburg, if you'll go through here, you'll see where it says officials on page 2. You see the start of the problem in the town of Fredericksburg. And it's continued on to the other night. What you had happen is you had 8 clerk treasurers in that time period. That would be the same comparison, even though on a lesser scale, the same comparison. Your county auditor is the most important administrative officer of the county government, self-explanatory. What if you were to have had 8 county auditors in the last 10 years? It would be total chaos and you couldn't function. So this has been part of the problem for Fredericksburg. You've had 8 clerk treasurers, and each one of them serving short periods of time except for one. And they simply allowed the town to go slowly downhill. At the same time this was going on, you had a loss of revenue. If you look at this, this is very important here on page 6. You'll see an annual report, which is required by Indiana state statute, which is now being enforced. If you don't file this annual report, you're removed from office by statute. There has been no annual report filed for the town of Fredericksburg, as you can see listed on page 6. These annual reports have been filed recently. When I came along and Joe Spiegel came along, we made a point of filing these reports. Board minutes, you can see on page 6. Town council minutes for this time period were not even kept, maintained, or accepted for audit. You can see that on page 7, penalties and other charges. These are items that are not performed correctly by the town. You can see a conflict of interest on page 8, where the money was spent probably unwisely or whatever. That's just an item. Official bond. You can see the clerk treasurer of the town did not even maintain a bond for many, many years. This is one section, 2001 to 2005. This other section, this other audit in front of you is from 2006 to 2007. This is where finally the financial calamity hit. When Mr. Stiegler took over, there was $500 in the bank. If you go through this audit, the important thing for a clerk treasurer to do is correct things in a procedural state board of accounts audit. They said, correct these items and you'll do a better job of running your government. You can see in this audit, the same thing occurs. Meredith Cook and 2 other clerk treasurers came along. They're since gone, and none of the items found in this audit report were ever corrected in this audit report. It's not because people don't care, it's because trying to, even a small town government, it's a lot more complicated than most people realize. Most people in this room have never even read a state board of accounts audit report and would not understand it if they did read it. That's just normal. It's that way everywhere in the state of Indiana. So it's not uncommon, but unless you take care of these things, this is what happens. All this is creating problems you're looking at now, and then it simply comes down to money. how much money does it take to operate a government the size of Fredericksburg? They don't have any. They currently have a $2,300 judgment and found in court against the town of Fredericksburg. They don't have the money to pay it. The current town council members and court treasurer worked for 2 years for no pay. I think I've been doing what Charlie Price State Board of Accounts asked me to do for a couple of years, 2.5 years ago to help, and I haven't left yet. I've received $45 in gas in 2.5 years. I wrote down a number here. Somebody wanted to say, what would it take financially to keep Fredericksburg operating and put it back in a functional proposition? If somebody wants to come forward with $10,000, I can put things in order and put it in a functional proposition. That would be simply a donation of $10,000 and we're back in business. Otherwise, I don't see any way forward for the town of Fredericksburg to operate. Thank you.
Joseph Stigler.
He basically hit it on the town, is one way we can't support ourselves. We can't maintain ourselves. We can't pay our bills. And I think that, you know, it's a good deal of just vote it up and let y'all deal with it. We still have a lot of problems with, that lady on the corner, y'all come down there before, 3 or 4 years ago, clean their property up. And then they just worse than that was, and she piled on everybody's property. The town can't do nothing with her. She knows it. They got no money to fight. They got no, we don't have no lawyers or nothing. So, you know, that's another problem. Is that each building there, you know what I'm saying? We don't have the money to do nothing.
Okay. Amy Joseph?
Sorry, what's your last name?
Birkla, B-I-R-K-L-A. We own property in the town of Fredericksburg. We don't reside there, but we own property. We reside outside of the town limits. We've lived in Fredericksburg probably just outside of town, our current location, 7 years. I don't think the problems with the town have happened overnight. You know, this has been a progression for the town. I think part of it is leadership, you know, not just current leadership, but obviously past leadership. I think we haven't had people within the town limits that were capable of adequately running the town board. I don't know that it was lack of want. I think it was just lack of education in how to run a board properly, how to run a town properly, and then obviously lack of resources. I don't know that that's something that, you know, is going to be resolved long term. Now, the condition of the town, it's not an area that people are thriving, you know, desiring to move to. Part of it, you know, is the condition of some of the local properties down in town. You know, as you come up the hill, it changes a little bit. But you know, I hate to see the town go as well. I don't know that there is a fix, but you know, I can't help but think that some of our problems just keep getting perpetuated, you know, through our leadership. We've not had an official election. You know, we took whoever was willing to step up, you know, and they were willing to give their time, and we appreciate that. You know, but on the other hand, was there other help there that we could have used? No, I don't know. I don't know that we've taken the steps to find that out. The State Board of Account reports, I've looked over them myself. There's more recent reports that identify issues too. Again, you know, I'm not saying that it's lack of effort on someone's part. I just think, you know, we struggle to find someone that can get in there and get the job done. We've not had our tax base, you know, that we were eligible to receive because our budgets haven't been in place. They've not been submitted properly. I think the reports indicate that. Would it still be enough to operate the town? You know, I don't know. I don't think any of us can say that because we've not had it in so long. You know, but I can't say that the answer is to dissolve or is not to dissolve. I just don't know that the town has been given a fair chance to really see if it can operate the way that it needs to. So.
Thank you.
Sharon?
Well, I hope I can.
I'm sorry, what's your last name?
Sharon Boaz, B-O-A-Z. I hope I can say what I want to say because it's pretty sentimental to me. But I'm here today because of my grandparents and all my family live on the hill. And we're not in the town, but it's very meaningful to all of us. And I think they will turn over in our graves to know that we're letting this town be dissolved. So if there's anything that we can do, and you could just let us know. And we live outside the city limits, so we really don't have a say in this, really. But if there's anything that we could do, maybe like English did when the floods, because the flood has been our whole problem. Is in '59 when the flood came through and took our businesses and everything downtown. It used to be a flourishing little town. We had a couple grocery stores. We had car dealerships. We had, of course, the tavern, and they had stores and just in a skating rink. And our grandparents and my cousin and his family and all of us, they were just, this is a terrible thing. But I understand that there's no money. But if there's anything legally that you know that we could do to move to the hill or incorporate people maybe on the hill or do something to this extent, we just would like to know that. And we're not lawyers and we don't know what to do. So if you could maybe advise us in some of that. Thank you.
Norman Pennington.
Well, I was been around the old town for, I guess I would have to admit it, for about 75 years. But I'm right at the edge of town. I do have property in the city limits. I do own some property, which, what does that mean? Probably nothing. But anyway, my folks live right at the top of the hill. And it's just, I'm kind of like Sherry. You just hate to see it go. And it's not going. I don't feel like, I feel like that you gentlemen here can do something to maintain whatever we got left. Now what that is, if we can assist you a little bit, and they've been down now, the group, and taking care of like the cemetery, which that probably has nothing to do with the town, but clean it up a little bit, do a little bush hogging and so forth, makes it look better, but there's a long ways to go. And I'm not here saying that if we don't have no money, you don't have no money. So I gotta look to you gentlemen and lady that, you know, where does my tax money go? Apparently it goes into doing things like this. And that we just like to be considered the best we can. And I really can't think of anything else. I could stand up here and probably talk all day, but we're only reminiscing. So anyway, we'll thank you for whatever you can do. If we can help, do whatever it might be, we'll give it a whirl. So thank you for your time.
That was all that was on the list, was 5 people wanting to speak. Is that everyone from Fredericksburg? Is there any one here that hasn't spoke that is from Fredericksburg? One other, two others?
I'm not from Fredericksburg. I guess it may speak briefly. Just ask a question. I don't live in the town of Fredericksburg.
What's your name?
Marvin Jenks, Jenks. I'm with the Fredericksburg Lions Club. We've made an effort collectively to try to help the appearance of the town of Fredericksburg. We've arranged to have the big field mowed behind the town hall, trying to clean that up along the highway. But my interest, I guess what I want to say is there are a lot of people who want to help, who would like to become involved in the process of Fredericksburg. But because we're not town members, I have a Fredericksburg address, but I don't have a say. We're kind of restricted in what our efforts. I kind of agreed with Sharon, if they could incorporate or spread out or accept members, that's our voting area, we have a Fredericksburg address, that we could assist the town in some way. Thank you.
I have his name to the list. If you want to speak, sir, we can add your name to the list.
Yeah, I've been living in Fredericksburg.
What's your name?
Olin, O-L-E-N-C-R-A-N-D. I've been living in Fredericksburg for 46 years. I live about 3/4 of the way up the hill. I don't know, I'm kind of 50-50 on this, dissolving the town or what to do. I have not been able to, since I live up on the hill, it's been hard for me a lot of times to even see down the hill where there's even traffic coming up the hill because this doesn't have anything to do with regular, because the state highway department will not keep the weeds and all. I've been doing that myself. As far as the cemetery, I was talking to Sarah Bachman. She probably remembers, and she told me of somebody to talk to about getting the cemetery done in the proper way. She mentioned Benny Weathers, and I talked to his wife, and she told me, she said they've only got money appropriated to do that, mowing the cemetery twice in the summer. But the thing about it is they was not keeping the weeds around the tombstones. The weeds were real high and all, and I told her, I said, well, will you do me a favor and let me know when the next time that he mows, if nothing else, I'll take a weed eater down there and mow around the tombstones.
Excuse me, is the cemetery in town limits?
Yes.
It is, so it's part of the town?
It's not a municipal cemetery.
Beg your pardon?
Private cemetery is not.
Well, that's fine, I just need to know if it's in town limits. Okay.
But anyway, about a week later, I went down there, checked on it, and somebody had mowed down the weeds around the tombstone there. It looks a whole lot better, but there was a period of years there, I don't know how many years, that I don't even know if they'd even mowed once a year. But anyway, I'm hoping that the cemetery now will be, the appearance of it will be like it is right now, that they will continue to go in there and do a better job. And my whole life was just about around the town of Fredericksburg. It had a skating rink and it had all the stores. But there's another thing that I have questioned, is there was about 4 places sold gas, and those tanks are still down in the ground, except there's only one that I know of that possibly might have been taken up.
Well, right now, sir, what we're determining, we've got to determine whether or not we're going to have a town there or not. You know, if we don't have a town that falls on the county, then we got a lot of work to do. If we do have a town and it stays within the town, then you folks have got a lot of work to do. So the state's going to oversee it, and they're going to look at it very hard. So those questions, you know, we really can't answer right now.
Well, I understand that.
You know, we're going to have to wait. I want to hear from everybody we possibly can. We got one more from Fredericksburg, but you're okay, you think? All right, Tom, that's the list then. Okay, I'll entertain some discussion from the commissioners and our attorney, if you guys want to say anything?
What's the $10,000? Where'd you come up with that figure?
Well, I mean, if these things commissioners are probably aware of, but the ones that actually do all the work are the ones that more like the kind of, everything, including the town of Fredericksburg does have an improved budget right now, and it has had one for the last 2 or 3 years.
Do you have a copy of that?
Not on me, but they've got a statement from the Department of Local Government Finance saying they are operating under an improved budget. That's,
I just want to see the budget.
okay, it's about $5,000 approved by DOT. But I came up with the number of $10,000. I say everything that you do, your gateway programs, the new institutions put by state government, everything has to be done on the computer now. That's mandatory. There's no election, no the paperwork doing all these things is gone. It's very in a sense. So I've done the calculation, purchase a new computer, approximately $1,500. You'll have to have a municipal software program. Down at Elizabeth, I use Keystone, they're the largest municipal software in the state of Indiana. It's a program that will cost about $3,000. You run all your software on it. It provides your budget link, the DLG, about your annual reports, all that's linked in your software. So there's about $4,500. Come up with $2,300 to pay off the current court judgment against the town of Fredericksburg.
What's that judgment for?
That's for Joe Stigler not knowing any difference, just followed procedure from previous close traders and signed a fire protection agreement on a voluntary
Oh,
basis.
yeah, that's right.
And supposed to be a volunteer forest park, and then wisdom decided to sue the town, and essentially it's like that's overdone. But you cannot expect town council members and our clerk treasurer to serve for zero money. They may do it for a while, but eventually that volunteerism spirit's gone. Like I say, $10,000, if somebody wants to donate that, you put your town back in operating budget. And if I lived in Fredericksburg, I would be very, very sad to see the town go myself. If the town is dissolved and you have people that live on the outskirts or whatever want to reorganize into a town, that can be done. That would probably be the best suggestion. If there's enough sentiment in that general area to have a town, allow the current town to dissolve itself, and then they could petition. It's not that difficult. They could reorganize and form a new town with further town limits.
I'm going to back up just a minute here, okay? I'm talking to our auditor. And you have an approved budget. That was your statement. You do have an approved budget. You had an approved budget. You don't have a tax rate or a tax base.
And
Is that correct?
That's correct. We have not collected property.
Okay, let me explain, or not me explain, let our auditor explain to you why that's not happening, okay? Go ahead, Sarah, I turned you loose.
You can have an approved budget, that's with the DLGF, that's no problem. You can turn in your budget and they can approve your budget. But if you don't follow the correct procedures, they have dates that you have to follow and stuff has to be published and it has to be taken and it has to be submitted up to the DLGF for approval. And if those steps and those dates have not been met, then that is where they will not give you a tax rate. And that's where the problem is. You can have a budget, but if you don't have a tax rate out here bringing in money, what good is a budget?
It's not gonna do you any good.
It's
My
not going to do any
proposition
good.
is, excuse me for interrupting you, there was an established tax rate somewhere back in the 90s.
Yeah, I was first deputy then. I know there was a tax rate.
So why isn't there an established tax rate now? Somewhere along the line, the lack of submission of budgets to the DLG.
You hit it right on the nose, right there.
Have allowed them to formulate it. They're really not, there's a state law that says you can't do away with a assessed budget, a tax assessment. But somehow or another got done, so that's what we're done with. So.
It got done because the procedures weren't followed and they weren't turned in on a timely basis.
So now you come to the current, we the town council, discussed this a couple of years ago. If we wanted to try to reestablish a tax rate, we discussed how much revenue would be produced and how much much of a tax rate would have to be put on the townspeople to produce a usable amount of money. If you take the assessed value of the town of Fredericksburg and the number of households that would be eligible for taxable money, you'd come up about $1,300–1,500 a year in taxable receipts money. Now, $1,300–1,500 a year will put an additional tax burden on the current residents of the average of $25–30 a year. What would they receive for $25–30 a year in additional tax assessed against them? $1,500 is not going to buy them any blacktop. It's not going to buy them anything else. So you have placed an additional tax on those townspeople, and they're not going to receive any services for it. So I advise that town council that it was not fair to place that type of tax burden on them to create no services and not enough revenue to solve any problems.
But if you don't have a tax rate, you're not gonna get no money into the town where you can have your lights and do your streets and all
Tax
that
rate
stuff.
does not affect MVH money. does
No,
not
I'm
affect
talking about the
local road
MVH
streets.
money, that's completely different.
Well, the audits show the sources of revenue of the town of Fredericksburg, and the tax rate does not have any effect on its other tax sources. The only other tax source your tax rate would include would be probably an additional $1,300–1,500 in additional revenue. The lack of that tax rate does not cost the town of Fredericksburg any other sources of revenue. So it all goes back to the sentimental discussion. All three county commissioners don't want to see the town go because it's a town and they want to stay there. But then it comes back to simple bare facts. The town does not have any revenue to operate on, period, and it has no ability to create an additional revenue in the future to operate. So it's a sad situation, but it's a reality that has to be faced.
How many property tax owners do you have in the town of Fredericksburg right now?
Well, there would be 50, maybe 55 households.
How many?
50.
50 to 55. What would be the potential if some of these people were annexed that they were talking about up on the hill and maybe to the east?
Well,
what's the potential?
You could maybe, it's go through the established tax rate. You can go, and I'm going by many years of experience, and I've studied this. I've been involved in local a long time. You know, you go into a typical residential house in a typical small town, you will see that the tax rate, the tax amount of money they get taxed a year runs around about $25–30 a year. So if you want to use the law of averages, if you've got an average household, medium income, medium structure of a house that's worth about $60,000, that will produce from an incorporated town. Now, they've got to pay other taxes for the county and the township and the state, but for that particular town, it would produce about $30 of usable tax revenue going through a normal budget process and establishing a tax rate. Now, that's what I pay. Like I live in Elizabeth, I'm the clerk treasurer, town manager of Elizabeth. I pay about $30 a year, and I've got a little bit better than the average house. Nothing fancy, it's not great, but it's a nice house. I pay about $30 a year to the town of Elizabeth because I live in town. And that's really a good average for a non-expensive home that lives in a town.
Sharon, how many possible homes or properties would be available if this were extended out?
You could make a circle, you would just come straight up the hill. I'm sure it's okay with me to say something.
Sure.
Based on here, and
About how many would you say would be okay to be considered?
I would say, at least one. We're gonna have to make it, it's not just straight up the hill, right? I mean, you're gonna have to spread out. It just makes me wonder. You know, we're not too smart up there, really, but why do we need somebody coming in to our town and telling us what to do. But I don't live in town, only have a little property in town, and I understand that. But I just can't think that we need to operate that way, and maybe there's some other way, as I think the gentleman mentioned, that we might branch out and we get some new blood in the town. There's maybe no way to actually save the town, but we can make it look and possibly be a lot better. We can at least keep our street lights on and maybe get a little grass cut and so forth. But I really need to shut up.
I got another question, and then I'm gonna let Tom answer some questions on the legality part of it. Your MVH fund, which you do draw, what's the amount?
And it's about $3,300 a year.
33?
It stayed, if you look, it's kind of leveled out. The state government's cut back on the funding for MVH and local road and street last 2-3 years. It was higher about 8-9 years ago, but they cut that funding back. That was under Frank O'Banion. Even 2007, it's got, the audit says 7,200, and that's way higher. Last year, the NVH received, it was somewhere around $3,300. Local road, the local road and street, it was only like $800 a year.
For your local road and street?
Yeah, and your NVH, like I say, I use a number of 3,200, I'll be off the six. And due to the fact, towns under 500 can now take all their NVH and the local road and street, and they can combine that into the general fund and operate, because there's a population below 500 that's allowed under a proper statute. So currently, your NVH and your local road and street money is being used to pay for, besides this, the street lights, some other minor functions like publishing in your newspaper, the things you have to publish. Once in a while, the NVH and local road and street money is being used for that, because you receive $600 a year from the riverboat. ABC gallonage, you receive, that goes in their general fund. That's about $80 a year for the town.
So you're taking everything, putting it in a general fund?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing now?
Yeah, you're allowed to do that under, the towns under 500 can do that. You do not have to operate under all separate different, but you put it all in the general fund. And while we, if you only got $4,900 to work with, there's no sense in having 4 or 5 funds. It's just allowable to do for a population of 500.
What's involved in, you said, reincorporating or getting a petition to incorporate a new town?
Well, I'm making the same series of statutes where it says the incorporation, there's a series of statutes that says about, establishing a town. In today's world, 25 years ago, it was easy for a town to extend its town limits for annexation. In today's world, you can ask your county attorney, Mr. Cybert, it's difficult anymore to move from town limits annexation. Unless it's contiguous with the existing town limits and the people involved volunteer to be annexed, annexing is difficult at this. So these other people that want to be in town, that would be wonderful. But number one, they have to be determined if they're contiguous to the existing town limits, and they have to be. And they would all have to sign legal paperwork provided, done by an attorney, or somebody knows what they're doing, to voluntarily incorporate into town. They had to be a public hearing, and then if a tax rate was established, it would take 2 years before that property actually shows up as taxable property on town tax rolls. And that's not because I've done the same thing in Elizabeth back 6-7 years ago around now. That's the way it works. It takes 2 years for that tax person to show up as far as taxable money for the town. Just because you incorporate that person into the town limits today, doesn't mean they'll produce any revenue the next year. It takes 2 years for that to happen. So the process is not as easy as most people would think it is.
Yes, it does. He's right on it. It takes, because you have to remember, taxes run a year behind. And, I mean, it wouldn't, it's just because you annex a piece of property, like he said, that will not be taxed that next year. It takes a while, yeah.
It takes 2 years.
Yeah.
What about, instead of annexing, you said something about just establishing a new town?
Well, to me, that would be the viable, that would be the smartest thing to do. These 3 county commissioners said, they would probably help to the best of their ability without extending county money in the way that they can to do a start over process. To me, that would be a very wise thing to do if you've got enough people that want to do it. That really sounds like an extremely good idea.
Yes,
So
please.
your county clerk, the clerk treasurer, you have to have the people to make up your town. You have to have them, and you have to have them doing the proper work, the proper stuff.
Yeah, I want to point out something. Over the years, you can't ask the county attorney those questions because I've never been involved in any annexation whatsoever. So I could look it up, but I appreciate your confidence. But over the 6 years that I've been involved as a county attorney, I can tell you, this is just the truth, okay? There are issues that have come up with the town of Fredericksburg and continue to come up that take up county commissioner's time, county attorney time. I've had multiple meetings with individuals over the years in my office of problems that arise, issues that arise, because there's not enough money to hire their own attorney, not enough money to take care of their own issues. And so lots of times I've spoken with the county commissioners past. I just want you all to consider as you do that, and I understand the sentiment behind what's going on. You know, I've talked with people who faced shutting down of schools and the closure of towns in other areas, and it's not an easy thing to face. But I just, as a citizen, not as a county clerk, as a citizen, I want everyone to consider, is there feasibly enough interest in population to generate sufficient income to actually continue to function? Or would we just be looking at creating the same problem that existed before and brought us to where we are today? And I don't know that anyone can answer that question here today, other than you have done a little bit of the math on what kind of a tax base would be generated. And we've got someone saying that maybe there's going to be 20 families, 20 households that would be brought in if we made it bigger or moved it, you know, feasibly. What's that really going to generate? Is that really enough to do what you're seeking to accomplish?
20 times 30 is 600.
Yeah, $600.
Well, I think it depends on what the expectation is. I mean, if the community just expects the town to continue to provide lights, you know, that type of thing, then is the money there to do that? If we operated procedurally the way that we're supposed to, is there enough funds to continue to do that? It's just what the expectations are. We're never gonna be a Salem or, you know, North Orleans, or, it's not gonna be that. It's just the location doesn't allow for that. But, you know, if they wanna continue to have lights and whatever other services, what does it take to do that? And if they operate the way we should, are the funds there? I think that's the ultimate question. Now, if the people that are within the town can't do that operationally, and the answer is to expand, then what's involved in that? There are some of us in 2008, when the town tried to be restructured again, that were there to help. You know, we are not within town limits, but we attended the meetings faithfully. When they were posted and we knew about them, we were there. We tried to participate. I contacted the attorney initially to get the process started. And then we kind of got the impression, well, your help's no longer needed. So we backed out, and we've not been attending. And when we found that the town was going to dissolve, we started you know, taking some more interest again and trying to determine, okay, is there something that we can do here? But I guess ultimately, you know, what's the expectation of the townspeople, and if we operate the way we should, is the money going to meet those expectations? If they are, then, you know, who's to say that it's not okay for the town of Fredericksburg to have $500 left in the bank when it's all said and done? You know, there are people in the community that are willing to put the time in. It's just, to a certain extent, our hands are tied because we don't live within the limits.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
And if you brought up at another time to incorporate, I mean, re-incorporate if it's dissolved. That's,
I would like to know how many people outside the present Fredericksburg town limits would be willing to incorporate and come into the new town. That's my question.
I guess you would still call it Fredericksburg, you don't have to make it a different name.
They can say new Fredericksburg, just like old people became new people.
Didn't they do the same thing in English? Moved it up out of floodplain.
English was a county seat. It had to be
Yeah, it's,
Because new Fredericksburg.
You say right now, within the city limits of Fredericksburg right now, there's 50 to 55 houses?
Maybe.
Is that what you're saying?
That's a good guess. That number's not going to be exactly.
Right now, right now.
No, don't do it. But that's a good guess. That
That's
will
what
hold
he
up.
told me about asking property taxes for people.
That's what it is.
That's what he told me a while ago when I asked him.
You think there's that many houses in Fredericksburg, in the city limits?
Pay property tax when I asked him.
Taxable dwellings within the, and I'm going by the fact that the population is about 100 on, you know, 2 people per household. I'd say that's Tom Cipher, when they had to look up the number of registered voters, that gave me a hint. 55 households taxable partial or property is probably a good guess. Like I say, that's a good guess. It's not exact. Like I say, you've got, I don't, you have to ask your county attorney whether I'm responsible. I've been doing what I do for 2.5 years. Any town in the state of Indiana is allowed to hire a town manager to reside anywhere in the state of Indiana. I've done that. I've served as town manager in Palmyra, and I live down with you. So there's nothing that's done for around the state. My term as town manager is shortly going to end. I cannot drive back and forth. I cannot be in Fredericksburg to take care of the business. The current town council members agreed to serve for a couple of years and try to make a go of it. That's why I said, look, I said, let's try it for a couple of years, y'all put forth your best efforts, and if it don't work out, then we'll deal with that when the time comes.
When is your term in?
My term ends whenever I say I'm resigning. We're getting awfully close there. But I cannot, it does not work for me to do what I'm doing now. Elizabeth, I've got a large operation down there where I live at. I can't run back and forth. And I, like I said, you see, I've been doing this for 2.5 years, and I've gotten $45 for gas. I'm in the hole in this job. And I don't mind doing it, because I promised somebody else to do it, Charlie Price. The current town council members have either done an average job, or whatever you want to put a label on, and they are about done. So what I'm saying is, at some point here soon, and I'm not being argumentative or burdensome, but this is going to come to the county commissioners anyway, because I'm going to play into the sunset that these 3 town council members and club treasurer are going to resign. So it's a problem that's going to have to be addressed, and here it's said. But like I say, the town has no money, and no money to operate. I don't see where the county is really a responsible party, have any options much to choose from.
There were only 52 registered voters at the time that the petition was attempted.
that you received in 2011, the 3,300, what did you use that for?
Well, like I say, I haven't done the last monthly financial report for the month. Joe's currently, all he's paid is the street light bill, which is about $130, $140 a month. And he cut the water off at the town office. And
$12 a month for
electric bill. So he's only spending right now about $150 a month, going out. You're receiving, if you would take the average monthly receipts of the town, when you take the LRS, see the LRS and MVH come every month. Some of the other payments come quarterly. They were averaging about $175 a month above expenses, in the recent year and a half or 2 years.
Have they done any paving with this MVH local roads and streets? Have you had any money to paving along in the streets?
With $60,000 a mile to pave, I said, work out to about 6.5 feet.
I'd say you're right, Tom.
So we're gonna get some river rocks anyway. I would have to say that in the past, and I don't know, talking to Joe there, I have donated money down there to the town to cut grass and so forth. Am I right?
Yes.
And I feel like the grass got cut. It looked good, it looked better. I appreciated that. And why did I do that? Like I told you in the beginning. That's what I would do. And not that I want to donate, I do donate my time to make it look better and so forth, but that can be done. That can be done. I'm sitting here listening to someone that is strictly shoving us down. I don't think that's fair. I mean, that's my feeling. Everything is negative. Now let's get something positive. So, I got it hold up again. But anyway, I just have been, felt like that we just could do it there. What it is, that's what we're here for. Maybe, I think you gentlemen, and when I get ladies, I forget her, she may be the one who writes us a check. But anyway, I feel like that there's something somewhere that, when we're down, maybe you can lift us up a little bit. I don't know. But we're here to find that out and do what we can to make it a little bit better. Thank you.
I think there's people that are willing to be involved. I mean, obviously. None of us have the experience running a town. None of the rest of us do. But we are willing to put in the effort. We were willing to put in the effort initially. I think some of our concern was that, you have somebody coming in from outside of the town, and do they have as big of a buy-in as the rest of us do? We live there locally. I'm a quarter of a mile outside the town limits is approximately where my residence is. We were offering assistance. Kathy Zelovitz was in the reorganization meetings. She offered her assistance. We weren't taking up on that. Whether the Department of Local Government Finance asked somebody to come in or not, I think residents of the area, they have a right to be involved in that and to be able to give whatever it is of their talents that they can give. And I think that we're capable of doing that. But again, we're doing it on our terms. That's kind of the way that it's been presented to us. And there is a lot of negativity going on. But do we know that the town can operate? Can it function? We don't know. But is there an opportunity for us to try to find that out? I think that's why we're here.
You see, this is the same thing we tried in 08. When I took over, we tried to make it go. I thought, man, we could do it. So I had a lot of people being right there to meet. I help cut the grass, everybody. But you know what people cut that grass? With me and Miss Hacker there donated $150, that man right there donated some money to us for cutting the grass, we didn't have no money. You know, and I agreed for 2 years, me and my wife both agreed for 2 years running this town to turn it around. And all we got on was crap stuff. Me and my wife, we painted that building, we bought the paint stuff for it. And then we had people comment, nasty comments about the color we picked. You know, you can't do nothing right. You know what I'm saying? But it all boils down to, the town has no money, I don't think they're ever gonna get no money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna take so much to run the town. I hate to see little towns go myself, but you know something? Some things just gotta happen. Because you all got more money than town's got. And y'all got a lot more equipment. We don't have no equipment over there. I've been using my equipment. That's when I call it quits right then. When I had tore my own equipment up to cut that grass, then I get beat on and stuff. No, that's done past the line. I resigned probably about the 15th this month.
It hasn't been that many years ago, but we had a big parade in Fredericksburg. I mean, it was a big deal, and my husband and all of us, most of us were here, used to go around and we cut grass, we put big flower pots on every corner with flowers in them. And we had celebrities came from Louisville, Wayne Turkey was back then, it's been several years ago, but it was a big deal, and all of a sudden, it just went.
That wasn't that many years ago, Sharon, I remember it.
Time flies when you're happy.
Everything I see was good before FEMA bought them out. That was what, 97? I moved here in 98, they started turning towns down.
Let me go through these funds again. $3,300 was what? MVH fund, that's your MVH fund right now. And if you had to establish a tax base, it's gonna be somewhere around the neighborhood of, if you went ahead and established a tax base, it'd be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,500. Sound logical?
That's hitting your current, I'm using that, each taxable partial piece of property would be taxed at a rate of $30, a piece.
Okay.
You take 50 times
All right,
30.
and then you said about $600 for what? What else, what is?
Riverboat, there's chicken.
Riverboat.
Insurance.
And then local roads and streets, you get income from that?
About $800, something like that.
About $800. That all the income that's coming into the town of Fredericksburg?
You receive three checks a year for what's called ABC gallonage. That's for liquor, that tavern in town.
Okay, how much are those?
It's closed, it closes, you're looking at maybe $90 a year.
It's done now?
It's closed.
So we won't.
And then after stores closed, so we don't have no
No,
liquor.
don't worry about that. I wanna know the exact income that's coming into Fredericksburg.
Okay, you get, you get once or twice a year, you get general cigarette tax, which is $60, $70, and 2-3 pounds.
$60?
Yeah, a year. And you get, CCIF, it's a Cumulative Capital Improvement Fund, that's also cigarette tax, and that's about $100 a year. That comes from the state auditor.
Okay,
I think you get 6, the county seated tax or casual tax of some type, the town gets $6.78 a month, about $72 a year.
okay.
No, you have to have an edit plan, they do not permit an edit
Okay,
plan.
is that it?
I might be missing a couple of nickels and dimes, and that's cool.
They have to submit an edit
That's what I
plan.
say, they'd be eligible if they submitted the paperwork.
There's one tax I think you do not receive unless you've got an assessed tax rate. If you don't have an assessed tax rate producing revenue, you don't receive that county tax. you would come up with a total, receipts for the town of Fredericksburg, and run about $5,000 a year. From all sources.
Okay, expenses, you got your street lights. I think you come up with $175 a
Yeah,
month.
there's been some cut off, some
Does
money.
that sound right? Your electric,
About $12.
your water,
I got water cut off.
okay, but right now, you're running $12 a month for electric,
About $175.
about $175 for your street lights. Is that right? So you're looking at $200 a month.
Yeah.
That's costing you right now.
Yeah, and we're saving about $100 or, yeah, they all deal.
You're bringing in $5,000 a year, you're paying out $200 a month. That making sense? Right, as of right now, I'm going right now, not any farther.
The town.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, but the town has no, insurance, that was canceled.
I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not going that far yet, okay? I wanna get this step by step, right now. And you had made a statement, if you're less than 500, this can all go into a general fund, and you can pay out of that what you need to be paid.
I have, to Mr. Stigler, I have submitted, two budgets, the Department of Local Government Finance, and that is in the general fund, and that's the way it's approved.
So it'll be general fund?
Yeah.
Okay. So as of right now, you're bringing in $5,000 a month.
A year.
Or a year, I'm sorry, 5,000. Sound like John Folk's salary, doesn't it? Okay, and you're paying out $200 a month, correct? Okay. I'm just trying to get all the facts down of what's going on down there now, okay? I can't entertain a motion one way or the other. I could make a suggestion. I guess I do that legally, Tom. This is a type hearing that I don't think any of us has experienced in because it's never happened in this county before. So it's something very new. I want a couple of weeks. I would like to talk to some more residents. I'm really kind of disappointed, but I understand people gotta work and they gotta be places. But out of the whole town of Fredericksburg, we had 8 people here.
How many
Well,
live
we
in
got
town?
7.
How many live in town?
There's only 2 people live in town. I'm sorry. There's only 2 people who live in town. The
And we
rest of
only-
us, we're spectators.
Okay, so there's only 2 people, town people.
Correct.
We need to talk. I know some of the people of Fredericksburg. So I need to go down and pay them a visit. We need to talk and find out just what's going on. Yeah.
What's the legality here of making a decision? Should we have a public hearing?
Yeah,
Does
Tom,
it have to be decided?
do we have to make this today, or can we have some time?
You could, I think the safest thing to do, you can approve it today or take no action. You can approve dissolution or take no action. If you approve dissolution, you would instruct me to draft an ordinance involving the town, and there would be a 60-day period in which we can send it to the state, follow the circuit court. If you took no action, then it's ineffective, and I would suggest that you would probably have to have another public hearing, or you could, I guess, we could table it.
Questions of the county attorneys, what will happen, hypothetically, say in about 14 days, the current town council members and the clerk treasurer and myself, turn in the documents to the county auditor, and they also turn in all records of current magnitude, and just grade them and nicely neat the boxes and take them to the county auditor's office and say, here they are.
Right, and this has been the subject of previous discussions, 2 months ago, 3 months, March or April, when you were here. And I said, bear with us as we try to go through the formal process to do this cleanly and do it right. Basically, what we've got is a lot of sentiment on one side and a lot of practical reality on the other, where people can just stop paying the bills, stop doing anything, and walk away, and what do we do about it? And insurance, you're not paying water to the city, you know, to any building or anything.
I cut half the lights off just to survive.
Yeah, cut lights off, I mean, sort of.
What would it cost to mow, just to mow the town lot, or the town offices to keep it done? Yeah, I mean, this, again, somebody would criticize me because I don't live in town, but nobody loves the proper operation of the government and to do things the right way than myself. My credentials and reputation far stretched. I can give you a long list of names to start, State Senator Richard Young, all the way down the line. I'm not doing this to make any money, and I'm not doing it because it's something I just think I had to do because it's some kind of wild fantasy. I like government, I like to see it work. But the county commissioners have the responsibility, you know, to address this problem. And make no bones about it, I cannot continue to do what I'm doing. You can't pay me. If you can pay me some money, I'll continue to do it. You can't do this kind of government. You cannot spend this kind of money like that. The town has no money. The current town council members and myself are going to die. Period, in the sentence. So it's your responsibility to take, to do something about the situation. Like I say, these records and documents, like I just said, will be covered to the county auditor's office. I've already sent a copy of this to the Secretary of State, as required by the statute, that the town council has done what it's done. I'll instruct the clerk treasurer of the town to send a letter to the state auditor. I'll call the state auditor myself and say that there's nobody here to receive the monies, and I'll advise them to discontinue sending money because there's no legitimate person to receive it. I've had a conversation with the State Board of Accounts, Mr. Charles Price, who's the supervisor for all auditors for the state of Indiana. Those are personal conversations between me and him. But he would not be afraid of me saying that this issue is a problem that needs to be taken care of at a local level. I think that read between the lines. So the responsibility is yours to do something. Tell the current town council what to do. Accept the responsibility and go ahead and resolve the problem. That's the bottom line.
Well, my feeling is, I don't think we have a choice in the matter. I mean, the facts are facts. We've got motion on this side, we got facts on this side. The people that showed us the most support don't live in the city limits. I mean, I
going to the point of reincorporating?
Well, I think so, but I don't know. You'd have to discuss that.
I just don't think there's any other option. I mean, you've got them right, they're stepping aside, and it's in our lap. We're just prolonging the agony.
That's exactly right. You just put it on something that's going to be done.
How much, with the taxes, like, that'd be their main concern, is how much taxes would go up probably on.
If they
Well, it would be
incorporate.
based on the assessed value of the town. But it's based on your assessed value.
I would take it if a group of people got together and reincorporated, you would include the property owners that are interested in keeping Fredericksburg. So it would extend out, so there'd be more property owners. Then the assessed value of that whole area would be turned in. And that's, that's how they figure all your taxes, just the assessed
Actually, my
value.
tax rate, what I pay in the town, because I don't think I just see anything, it's less than what I pay for the other
You
mine.
don't pay any taxes.
I have a lesser tax rate, so it would be beneficial to me. Well, it's only beneficial to me to keep the town invested.
Well, town don't have a tax rate anyway.
No.
We did have, because I remember one time.
Oh, yeah, they
95
did.
Yeah. But anyway,
I think what John's suggestion, did you put that in the motion?
I'll make that forward motion.
What John's suggestion is that we go ahead and adopt the resolution. And then the people that are interested, hopefully that will happen, can get together, talk, and reincorporate. That way you can go about it the easy way of reincorporating the people, get people interested enough on their own board.
I don't understand all this, but what will be the advantage? If you put simple words, we go around.
It's gonna put you in town to where you can help take care of the town.
Okay, what will be the advantage to those people coming off of us? Would just be maybe streetlights, or, just for example, what would it be? What would be
You'll be able to keep your town.
Save them in town.
That's probably it, save them in
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've got to ask yourself. What is the advantage, really?
Yeah, what's my advantage in paying out more taxes,
That's what this comes down
which
to.
have come to $30 a year? Is it worth it to me to do this and still maintain a name down here in the town of Fredericksburg?
and then we got to turn around and ask you all to send us some trucks down to clean them, and which has been very helpful. Now,
And we
that-
will.
And I know you will, but it's nothing. It's the idea of it piled up, but when you get it unpiled and then piled back. Now, that's not the way we live. Now, they may live that way downtown, and maybe they can't help it. I mean, that's the way our lifestyle is.
Where are you gonna get the money to blacktop the town roads and streets?
Well,
Ask the county commissioners if they will give you money to blacktop the town roads and streets.
well, that's something that we have to ask the county commissioners for things like that. And if they say, well, we're not gonna do that, we're gonna accept that. But if they say, we'll pay one this year, one next year, then we're making progress. But that may not happen.
I don't know what the expense of starting a new town is. I've never done that in 45 years of life. I can tell you.
What would happen now if you all say, well, it's done deal? And I understand that, I understand.
Let me go with this. First of all, if John's motion is seconded and approved, then they would instruct me to draft an ordinance doing it. I haven't done that. I didn't come here with a preconceived notion of what was going to happen today. And frankly, I didn't have time to draft alternate documents. So I'd be instructed to draft an ordinance which they could make a motion that be signed, in fact, outside the meeting, effective today or at the next meeting, which would be in 2 weeks. At that point, it says that a dissolution takes effect at least 60 days after the ordinance is enacted, and when the county auditor files a copy of the ordinance with the circuit court of the county and the office of the Secretary of State. property owned by the town after payment of debts and liabilities shall be disposed of by the county executive. The problem is, we got people who are ready, who have the ability to receive funding, administer property, ready to walk away. And right now, there's a $2,300 judgment. We've got a situation where there's a surplus, where 5,000 a year is coming in, and only 2,400 a year is going out.
Your current balance is only about 1,500.
Balance, that's different than what I'm saying. I mean, right now, the way we're getting a monthly check that's double what we're paying out currently, under the numbers you just gave earlier. But anyway, I don't know, the statute's vague, does that judgment accrue against the county? I don't know, but to answer your question, asking the county for help, that's part of the frustration in the past, is the town wants to have their own rules and not live under the county's rules. Until they need something, then they come and ask us to pay and do that. And that's not, I don't mean that you said it all I hear is negative. I'm just telling you, that's reality. We're either gonna do it or not do it, and it's a situation where we're just in 6 years' time, and we've dealt that, and Commissioner Brown just said, yeah, we'll help you clean that property up. Well, last time we did that, we said this is the only time we're not gonna do it anymore, because, again, it's not subject to, that's within the town of Fredericksburg, the town needs to do something about it, it doesn't generate enough income to do anything, so I'm not sure how you wanna instruct. You probably need to take a vote on there's a pending motion if there's no further.
This is good. You hit your words reading the statute are real good. You've got one commissioner prepared to make a motion. If it would please the commissioners, if you go ahead and second that motion and adopt it, that allows him to write an ordinance. That ordinance is not going to affect unless you all approve it at another meeting and sign it. So that allows the process to get that part done. And then if you get heat from the Fredericksburg residents, a logical solution, then you can refuse to sign the ordinance. But the first step is get the thing approved, and I think that's the proper thing to do.
Are you done, Mr. Attorney? Okay, motion been made and second.
It's not very sad.
Motion again, John.
I'll make a motion that we have Attorney Cyphers draft the ordinance to be signed to dissolve the town. Hard to even say. Really?
This still gives them the opportunity to take petitions outside, inside, before the next meeting. This is not binding, right, Tom?
Well, if the board approves, then I'm instructed to write an ordinance, and the board has indicated that they are going to sign an ordinance dissolving the town of Fredericksburg. But until the ordinance is signed, it's not a fact, it can still be done. So it's in limbo way.
You can't hold off dissolving it until we do that.
Right. Is that right?
Motion been made that the
Can't
town
do anything in that 2 weeks. I mean, it's not gonna be signed until 2 weeks from now when it's drafted, so.
I think there's still 60 days.
Well, then there's 60 days before the dissolution becomes effective.
Right. Okay, a motion been made that the town of Fredericksburg be dissolved. The Tom will pass to write up a resolution stating that an ordinance. I'll entertain a second.
I'll second the motion, but I want those people outside to find out how many people would be willing to, I'd like for it to be called New Fredericksburg, like Gold Picking. I'd like for it to be called New Fredericksburg, see how many people that you can get to sign petition, bring to us at the next meeting, 2 weeks from today.
How many do you have to have?
I mean, no set number, I'd just like to know how many people would be willing to come in that's not inside the town of Fredericksburg right now, to be willing to join and start a new town of Fredericksburg.
Motion been made and seconded that the town of Fredericksburg be dissolved. All those in favor, raise your right hand.
And Dave will check with some people down in Fredericksburg to see their feelings, and then we'll get together and
thing, it's to adopt, to get the ordinance wrote, it's a 2-week period. After it's accepted, then it's still a 60-day period on top of that. So you're looking at 2 weeks and 60 days to where we can amend that ordinance.
I'm gonna say that's not true. I'm gonna say, once it's signed and sent to the Secretary of State and filed with the court, it says it becomes effective 60 days after that's done. So the town has 2 months to wind down its affairs. I think that's the point of that.
Okay.
The solution is
So really, the 2-week period is what we need to concentrate on.
Are you willing to bear with us for 2 weeks? Joe?
Yeah, I handle 2 weeks, but not 2 weeks in one day.
We appreciate what you've done in the past, and I don't understand why Mr. Burns is donating all this time. I mean,
He's doing it for a favor for Charlie Pride. When I took over, the first thing I did, I called Charlie Pride, because we didn't have no books or nothing on no finances. So I told him, I don't know very much, nobody down here knows anything about government. So he told me, he said, Joe, I'll send you a man, just call me. And then when he called me, I'm expecting some great big 900-pound man with his voice. And here he showed up, a little 90-pound man. He knows his stuff, he's really, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Attorney Wright?
Hey, Drew, do you know why you named it Pekin? Railroad? So that they dissolve? Dissolve like we do today.
No, Old Pekin and New Pekin are all part of the same corporation. Only thing I'll say about this, Martinsburg has never been a town, but it's still a community. There's a difference between a community and a town. If you don't have a community, you don't have a town, but you still have a community.
Still have Fredericksburg?
how does English do theirs when they're moved up on the hill? How does English do theirs down?
A lot of federal money.
So they have to dissolve and
Check the spelling of your
I don't think they dissolve, they just move.
I don't like one. Yeah, do you know what West Fork should school road? Oh, 417.
I'm here representing the Critical Access Health Services Corporation, which of course you know is the Chapter 11 entity that owns most of the hospital properties right now. This reorganization plan is subject to the lease and purchase option of the St. Vincent Hospital Incorporated. And we discovered there's still a little bit of cleaning up to do with real estate titles in order to facilitate ultimately St. Vincent's continued leasing and our purchasing the property. We also have a situation with a condo unit that a doctor owns and he's trying to sell it, and we have to facilitate that procedure. So I filed a petition with you to reestablish the Washington County Memorial Hospital Association. And in that petition, I tried to detail why I think that's necessary, but I handed out to you an aerial photograph with the original 6-acre hospital campus on it. And the area highlighted in green is where the office condo and parking lots is located north of Wilmer Street. And right now, Critical Access owns 3 of those 4 units, Dr. Williams owns the other unit. We discovered that in the joint resolutions that were passed by the Council of Commissioners and Hospital Board at that time, the first time around, the property green was omitted because it wasn't realized, in fact, the title was the Washington County Memorial Hospital Association. The reason for that, that's what it was. And then in the second joint resolution that you adopted, well, of course, you conveyed everything else, but again, that was omitted from the description. So, basically, this belongs to an entity that should never have owned it. And we just have to reconstitute the hospital association so that they can then do a quick claim deed or a deed of correction, or that would be a critical access health services corporation. Under the county hospital law, a hospital association is a holding company that facilitates financing of construction of hospitals or hospital improvements. And under the law, the county commissioners are the ones that establish the hospital association. And the only qualification for membership on that board is that they be residents of the county. This was done 5 years ago in order to try to clean up this title. At that time, the county attorney then conveyed what the hospital association owned to Washington County, or to the county hospital. But when they described the condo, they described what it was instead of what it was. So that's what we got to correct. So basically, that's the entire public hearing. I'm here in front of the county council, they have agreed and on it. They agreed that they would be the host, if you will, of that public hearing at their next August meeting, 9:30 on 6. So I'm just asking you to reestablish the hospital association so that it can then organize and execute the deed to release its interest in the condo to Critical Access Services Corporation. Then we have the public hearing to authorize that it's effective. So that's the relief I'm seeking for.
I think the last time we did this, the Washington County, and it's the Washington County Memorial Hospital Association.
Yeah, they stuck the word memorial in.
Was made up of the 3 commissioners and 2 people who happened to be in attendance at the meeting. I think for ease of formation. And
notice that Mr. Cyphers acknowledges the fact that their only qualification is residency.
So I really think, I don't know if you, Mr. Wright, if you have any suggestion as to what would be the easiest as far as contact organization. I mean, this is a very simple and certain function that they're going to perform, and we want to make sure that there's someone who's readily available to get together, meet, and do this.
My comment though is we want to get 10 sessions because Mr. Mixler and Mr. Falls are presently on the Critical Access Board.
Okay.
So you might not want the same people on the hospital association board that's on the Critical Access. Mr. Brown, Lockman, somebody else.
We need 5 members.
Well, we have to have it.
Those are obviously have to take
When do we have to have it? How quick?
soon.
I mean, we gotta go out and get somebody, or can we just pick 5 in
You
here?
want it today, preferably.
Well, since we have to approve the 5, we'd have to be on the meeting if we didn't do it. So I think that just needs to be picked today.
Let's just do it today.
How many Salem residents we got in here?
They don't have to be celebrated.
Washington County.
By Washington County, sir.
How many we got here?
Just basically consists of one meeting.
Signing the oath of office.
Yeah.
It's just a formality, is what it is.
Rhonda, Sarah, me, a couple more.
The only thing is, we're gonna have a meeting, you all have to realize, I am gonna be on vacation next week, so I will not be here for the meeting.
That be okay?
And this launches for the 6 o'clock.
How to do that? You, Sarah, Rhonda, John Rebels will serve.
Have a deed.
All you need is one more. Morris Day will serve. So you got your 5.
Didn't show that, see?
I move we nominate David Brown, Sarah Bachman, Rhonda Green, John Rebels, and Morris Louis Day.
I'll second the motion.
Motion been made that these 5 be appointed and on the reestablishment of the Washington County Memorial Hospital Association. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed,
All
same
down here
sign.
first.
And the
Now, we
salary
just want the
stays the
meeting
same.
right now. Got one question, Drew. Why does that green highlighter only go partially and doesn't go all the way out to Shelby Street? I mean, it paves all the way out there in the parking places.
Well,
Is that all you own?
there's 114 feet off the west end that was reserved by the hospital. So technically that was part of its parking lot, whereas the rest of the parking lot was technically part of the county parking lot.
But it's all the same parking lot.
Yeah, there's no visible separation.
Okay, I just wondered how come it didn't go all the way out.
I'll make one other historical comment that has nothing to do with this. When I was in college in 1964, Fredericksburg had a big flood. And I remember coming home reading about the fact that, I guess it was SCS came in, they did a study of what could they do in flood improvements to protect the town of Fredericksburg. The projected cost was more than the assessed valuation the town was ever had. Long time coming.
Yeah.
Right. All right, I'll prepare the oaths and we'll be in touch. And Sarah, you know, we can do this when you get back.
Okay.
So in 2 weeks,
Couple weeks.
maybe our next meeting?
Pardon?
Our next meeting?
When is that?
2 weeks from today.
July the 17th to the 17th.
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
That'd be okay?
Yeah.
Do it all at once. You'll be here at 17th. You're on the committee now.
A commissioner.
John Will, 17th. Okay, Rhonda. And
Sounds good.
we'll just do it, we can do it at 9 o'clock while you're in executive session. Well, we can just do it like 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. We start at 8, but if you want to come in right at 9, we'll do it, put it right first on the agenda and take care of it.
We'll do it at 9 o'clock.
That'd be okay.
9 o'clock, 7 meeting. Thank you.
Go. Thanks. Rob?
Yes, he's freezing me to death.
4 degrees cooler thanks to me than it was. When, we were here a couple weeks ago, we had roof lighting estimates down for each building, same thing. It's got everything, each page breaks down each building, the detention center, the courthouse, and the highway department, which breaks down cost, savings, payback, and savings, rebates associated with each building. You guys had a question about the PCBs as far as removing the ballast. You know, there's concerns about the courthouse, so we looked through, it's 80 cents per pound if there's any additional. And if each ballast inside the courthouse contained additional PCB, it would be like in the $200 range if every ballast had it. And I think that's why we look at this building, and it's because it has new technology. So we could take them from 32 watts to 20 watts, and do much, save you some, but it took a lot of recapture.
That's what he speculated was there was no.
I don't know if you had, I sent this out about a week ago. I know you guys have been, it sounds like very a lot of other things aside from the other things to review and that, so I know you guys, time's limited, so I don't want to be redundant.
Well, we've been through all that other, with your partner, was it?
Ton.
Yeah.
This is, like I said, a full proposal with everything broken down.
For everybody's information, Perfection Group is a company that comes in and studies the lighting, basically to figure out ways to save money through the lighting systems with the new type lightings that we have today, and there is some big cost savings. Rob has done a breakdown here of the county courthouse, the county highway department. Is that right?
And the detention center.
detention center. The total bill for this whole thing, if he came in and done, oh, there it is, right there, why didn't I flip the pages? The total bill for these three is $35,473. This is what I want to get to, was the breakdown. The courthouse, the project cost was $12,312, but the payback years, we're gonna be saving about $1,995 per year, not counting the utility rebates and whatever, but it's a 3.94 year payback. In other words, in 4 years, almost 4 years, that money will be paid back to the county just in savings. The detention center, I'm taking it. Next one. The project cost is $21,050. Energy savings is $6,900. Utility rebates is $2,800. The payback years on that is 2.22 years. The utility payback is the money saved on the lighting replacements that they're going to be doing. And then, of course, the project is going to cost us $2,112, which the payback year is a little bit less than 2 years. This really, for the county, is a pretty good deal, because I'm thinking that we're going to be upgrading our lighting system, so we're looking at longer life of the lighting and whatever, which is going to be maybe even more considerable cost savings than what we're looking at right now.
Correct. The T8 technology runs for 40,000 hours. The T12 valves that you have in these buildings kind of phased out, so the opportunity to get them is going to be limited. So as you're replacing them, the cost is going to go up because the demands.
Right, sure. Questions, gentlemen?
I'd like to, I don't know if I'd like to hold off voting on this until the next meeting, just to kind of absorb the figures.
I had, if nobody else has any, I had one more question. Rob, can we take this by section, or is it a contract for all three, or?
No, I just, like I said, we gave you.
We could go each way.
The reason I put them all three together, and the reason I wanted to get back out here today is the Duke rebates associated with relamping from a T12 to T8 go away July 14th. So we have to purchase the material by or before July 14th. So when we send in the rebate forms, we've got to have an invoice showing it was purchased before July 14th in order to capture the rebates, which are a considerable amount. And here, when you're looking at overall, you're talking about 20% just in the rebates, what your project cost is. So that's something, if you hold off to the next meeting on sharing this, that would be, I think you said the 17th, is what I heard back there. So I wouldn't be able to get the rebates included in this.
So that would eliminate the rebate listings on each one of these three?
Correct. Just so you have apples to apples when you're making your decision.
Any other questions?
Well, issue is, Sarah, where's the money? I mean, it's like we don't have money to.
I'll just get you to ask her, but I'm afraid to, I'll set you close.
Well, let's see, you can use riverboat,
I mean, everything keeps coming out of
Riverboat.
paving.
or you can use riverboat. Or you could use probably,
Kim Cap.
hey, I was going to say, possibly you could use QCAP.
Well, because when's our next distribution?
Our next distribution won't be until December. We actually won't be until December. But
Okay.
yes, there's, I was going to say QCAP, I just wanted to throw riverboat out, just to really as a joke. I mean, not really as a
I
joke.
was gonna say,
Because
Gerald throws that out there.
because
But yes, QCAP is the only place I could think of where you could take it out of. is
and I don't
QCAP.
know that we even have
And
that much in there right now.
Well, we just got a draw, and,
That's right.
Is it 112, sir?
but we are paying the but we did, then we're paying we have to pay to have the,
The roofing
yes,
contractors.
we haven't, that 32, we haven't paid that yet.
The cumulative capital fund is what we pay all building improvements out of generally. That's how much we got.
I just
We
given
just
your
done 2 major improvements on the
Fund,
house,
fund.
the exterior of the roof in the last 2 to 3 years.
no, you have it.
We saw some guys up there when we were surveying it,
Yeah.
last month.
The roof's underway right now, it started last fall. And
Okay,
so we're trying to establish
now, that's your claims.
what the
No,
balance
I'm
is.
with
Sarah,
When would payment be due?
you.
Sarah,
I mean, on the project, it's,
Yes.
is it showing 112 seconds?
typically there's.
Yes, that's what I want.
Materials,
You should be
but
running.
I can find out on something this side.
That won't be, I don't think that'd be a problem.
Yes, I do, it's right here.
112.
We don't get our next installment until November.
Right now, we have $112,600 in
How much,
QCAP.
but when are we gonna be getting our final statement on the roofing contractors?
I look for it to come probably this month. I did an additional to have the money put into QCAP, so we'll have it there ready to pay them when we do get the bill.
Does that 112 include the money to pay them?
Yes,
And you know what that bill's going to be, so we'll.
it's $32,620.
Okay, so effectively, we've got 80,000 on the
Last one, we didn't pay. The rest of it's already been paid.
Then I think there's, and
But we have some other expenses. I mean, you've got to realize there are some expenses that comes up that we do have to take out of QCAP, but we will still get another draw in December. We will have it.
And we're not breaking it.
well, we don't know.
Well, we
don't know
do- yeah, I
We don't know
mean-
what's coming up. I mean, what are those other expenses?
Well, I know, but we're not breaking it down.
I'm not sure when the archaeological, when we're gonna have to pay that. If we're not gonna have to pay that by the end of this year.
See, I mean, there, that's
That's
100.
$60,000.
Okay, so there's 60,000 right there.
That will break it.
See, so I mean, we need to know, just because we got it sitting there right now, we need to know what's committed against it.
Well,
That will
that's,
break it.
yeah.
Can't do that, John.
But we get a distribution in November. They want at least 25% up front to buy, to order materials. So, I mean, you're just talking $10,000 plus $8,000.
How long will it take you to do the project?
It just depends on your scheduling. The detection centers are the biggest challenging as far as getting everything scheduled with people, because you gotta do SL and things of that nature, but it doesn't take us that long at all, it just depends on your schedule. I mean, we could have it done, the way the rebates are set up, it's gotta be installed before October's.
What if we went for the other two less the detention center?
I mean, you mean as far as scheduling it?
As far as doing it.
Committing to it.
I mean, we can.
Courthouse and highway department.
Just to put it in perspective, I'm working with a township in Ohio right now where they just agreed last week to move forward on a very similar project, and our line crew can be out there in 2 weeks. So we can do it as quick as you need it done, or we can put it off till as close to October as you need. It just depends on your scheduling and what fits within your timeline.
I think you know the issue with the detention centers, we're looking at
Renovating.
renovating it. That's what I'm having.
So I would
go and
Detention center done.
courthouse was one.
sometimes if you think it's gonna be prolonged a while, we can re-examine this, or if you are gonna renovate it, we can self-perform pretty much anything that has to do with, the mechanicals, the lighting, the controls, anything in there, so. We do that to all the time, sometimes when you gotta pay an architect, put all those design bids out there, it comes out to be like, something like this, just.
I would recommend that we do that, you know, if one of you want to put that in motion. I think we can handle it 14,424. I don't think we can handle any more than that. I don't think we want to handle any more than that. I don't think we want to even mess with the detention center
I
right now.
think with the jail the way it is right now, don't even go there yet with that one.
Bobby, do you want to?
What's your rebate from Duke and that type of thing on just those two buildings? Your rebate's not gonna be the same either.
Well, there's a percentage of
He's got it
rebates
split
on them.
down.
One is like $1,400 a year, the other's, or $1,400, and the other one is
225 is what I got wrote down from something we had last meeting, but I'm just trying to figure out what you're actually gonna do.
$225.
Yeah, to spend $12,000, what's your rebate gonna be if it's only be $700 or $800?
Be about 1,600. But the rebate doesn't concern me as much as the savings we're gonna have yearly. Okay, and if you look at the courthouse and you look at the,
Highway.
county highway department, their payback on those are very, very little. The payback is like 1.2 years with the county highway department or something like that. And the other one is,
I got 3.94 on the courthouse is what I got wrote down.
yeah, 394, a little bit, 4 years. So if you're looking at, you know, making every bit of that money back within those short periods of time, and with the new lighting and the different things, so you're saving.
Well,
Whatever
what I
money
was
we're
looking at
spending
is-
out now, we're putting in our pocket.
What I was thinking, if you had to meet this deadline at $14,000, you're gonna spend $14,000, if you only be saving $600 or $700, then all you're doing is meet the deadline for due, is what you're doing there, is what I was trying to find out. So if you get the same rebate for this, a parcel deal as you get for the whole thing, great, but if you're just gonna get a couple, $300 or $500 for
We get
due,
about 16.
you can table this for another 30 days, you're gonna, what
Yeah, we get about 1,600, but I'd like to
So
get.
that rebate is the same no matter whether you do the whole project or just part of
It's a
it?
percentage.
Percentage.
Right.
Which is, we're talking about 1,600, David.
Well, I think that the figure I had was on the whole project, I thought was the rebate was 14,200. That's just on the two buildings?
One is $225, that's on the county highway department.
Okay.
The other one is, on the courthouse is, $1,473.
Okay, that's the figures I had, so we didn't have the figures in for the detention center on that.
Didn't put that in, no.
And that's what I was trying to clarify.
No, that's, only reason why I wanna see it get done, so we can start saving money, which is gonna save money. The sooner it gets in there,
Well,
the
that's
money we're gonna
basically
save.
what I had the idea was to use those two buildings and then let the detention center go, which, if you're gonna get that kind of rebate, then you're looking at a pretty decent percentage.
We want, the detention center, I don't think the lighting is an issue as much as the renovation. We just wanna see what's gonna take place there. Motion's been made, we go ahead and accept this for
I
the
move
two
we,
facilities.
I move that we contract with Perfection Group Inc. for lighting retrofit for the courthouse and the highway department.
Second.
It's 14, is that?
Yeah,
Basically, you're
$14,424, John.
You're taking that 35,473 minus 21 for that.
That 14 plus.
Total bill is $14,424.
Where do you get the, let me ask you this, where do you get the lights at?
12,312 for the
I
courthouse.
mean, yeah, where do you order from?
It'll be, this one will probably be Sylvania. They got the best warranty in the right now.
Okay. So you go directly from the manufacturer, you get the lights, you don't go through a retail place or anything like that? So.
Right now they have, they're given 2-year warranty on multiple valves, which is, most companies are doing 1 year. So that's what they're using right now.
The reason I was asking is, you know, we've got a place that sells this stuff in town, or, you know, a couple places, and I didn't know where you're buying materials from.
Yeah, it's not the cost I have here from, something, I don't know how they would shake out, we get, because
Well,
we do so many
yeah,
great
you're probably
rates
gonna get
from these guys, that's where we go. And right now with, like I said, with the warranties on it, it just makes more sense to use that.
Okay, I'll second.
Motion been made, and second, we go ahead and, contract with Perfection Group. John, I see you're the senior signature on this. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We will need to sign.
Well, I think you'd have to
No,
redo
you
his
don't have to
contract.
redo it.
with
Take out the
proposal.
detention center. I see that.
I can do that, or I can give you new numbers, you can say first order, whichever's, easier.
Or and you could email me.
I can email you, I can update that, email it to you, and, as soon as I get it signed, send it back, I can get the material away.
And I think it should be, do you want the president
Mr.
signing it,
President,
or?
yeah.
I should be David Brown on here, not John Mitchell.
Yeah, sure. I need to run the Salem one more time.
I'll get that to you on Thursday, since you'll be out next week, you said.
Okay. I'm gonna be out from Friday.
Okay. Swiftly should I send it to you? I don't know if we're
Well, we're off tomorrow, so the only time you're gonna have is Thursday.
That's fine, I can send it to you Thursday.
Okay.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Have a great day.
I'm heading around the room. Gerald.
A couple things. Mr. Sutton wanted street names and length. Raceburg Road, there we are. If, take it over.
Half a mile, that's about it. Oh, wait.
They're not very long.
Oh, wait a minute, okay, and then you've got,
There's both sides of the highway, there's two different pictures.
How long's it been since the new sign was put up on the highway for the county?
No, I don't have a
Was that a grant that got those put up? You know, sir,
I don't know what sign you're talking about.
the county sign, road sign,
Where?
highway, you know, road sign, like Jim Day Road and all those. I think Mike Fleener was the one who got the contract for 11.5.
Oh, no.
Some of them are bad.
Oh.
That's what I thought he was talking about.
Got changed.
Back up here.
Show the school road down there, to the back stop down there, and one fifty. And the other one's across the road. Two different sides of the highway.
Gerald, that one line there, is that the city limit line? Right at the top of the hill?
I assume yes. That's the way I see it.
Sharon lives right there. City line's right here. She lives right there. Wow. That's how close it is. Okay, what else you got?
Question for Mr. Commissioner.
yeah.
You still wanting to do the striping on Mold Road?
Yeah, I got the figures, I was gonna bring it up. Tonight, it's gonna be $1,880 for the materials.
experiment with the chippings yet?
They do not have enough to do, they only have like 100 tons.
How much will that do?
Not very much. Takes 550.
Huh?
Takes 550 to do what they want to do.
Okay, so we need to find someplace that got more of it.
They're thinking, when they get the bypass done, they're gonna mill 56 from the stoplight to the bypass.
Okay,
We're gonna try to get those.
okay, good.
That'll be later on.
All right, good deal. As soon as that happens, call me. Like to see it.
It'll be later on this summer. What I understand.
Good. Morris?
I'm asking for help. Curry, fair, over there, the health department, we have water from the concessions over the ends. They don't like that. So we're gonna have to put in a holding tank where they can pump it. Or I had an idea, and Gerald's been over there with me, and we talked about it, but I don't know. So I've got a couple of other things there. Put in like a drain line, go down on the backside on that back road. We have a septic system over there, a septic tank, 600-gallon tank. And put that in, put the drain line, then Scotty's can come and pump it. At that time, we can put in the water from the concessions, the food court. Also then for the carnival, they can dump their wastewater in that also. Gerald and I, we looked at it, and we don't, so I got Ronnie Floyd, we had a suggestion there, and then we got Ronnie Floyd. He looked at it, he changed it some, but we're gonna have to do something with this, because the health department's not gonna let us open in that drain there. So,
That's the same drain we were talking about putting dogs at, wasn't it? And that's why when they usually take the excess dog, it's a different.
No, it's not.
Okay.
That was in the building.
and of course, we look at their, naturally, we don't have the money, we're hoping possibly after the fair, if we have a good year, we would have the money to do this. Ronnie has agreed to wait till after the fair before we pay. Like I said, hopefully if we have a good year, we'd have the money to do it. Right now, we don't.
How long will it take to do this?
Well, if we get the okay to do it, why, Ronnie will have it done before the fair, because, we have 27 days and the fair is going to start. So, he said that he'd, get on it and try to get it done.
Okay.
But, then another thing too, you and I talked about this at the last meeting, fire marshal, we can't have any gasoline engines in the buildings, so we have to move them out. Of course, we talked about imposing that other building there, and doing that. And so we'd have some place to put the gasoline mowers, the weed eaters and stuff like that during the fair. And we talked about that.
Yeah, there's still money in that to pay
Yeah.
though.
Which account?
In the,
We have fairground maintenance funds.
it's in the Cume Cap fund, but it's budgeted.
It's designated for,
Yeah.
Yes, it's designated for fair stuff.
it's always who we have to look to before we can.
It's in there every year.
I'd say, gentlemen, if you guys wanna make a motion, we need to get both these
I
taken
move
care of.
that both of those be done as quickly as possible.
Motion been made and second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. We're gonna let you take off with this and get it done. Is that
All right.
okay?
Is that, that's agreeable.
Go for it.
Also, same thing on the building supplies, Salem Lumber, they agreed to wait till after the fair, before they were paid.
turn the cleaner in,
Yeah,
we'll
she's
take
got
it.
the money to do it.
We'll take care of it. Try to get it done before the fair.
Oh, got to, before the
You
fair.
don't want no board of health problem.
Well,
Not
I
even
know,
a question.
we snuck by last year, but, we're not gonna be able to this time.
No, we don't want to go there.
Okay, thank you.
Fairground looks mighty nice over there.
It's, they've got it mowed, and of course, we got the new runways, you guys put in new runways for us. I think we got the fairgrounds looking the best that it's ever looked. And, had lots of comments, people told me, made lots of comments about what the fair is, of course, the heat. Like I said, the farm marshal's already in there, he's concerned about the heat. And, of course, that's all over the state, can't do anything about it, so just try to make it as safe as we can. Thank you, appreciate it.
Also, board, because of the no smoking, ban, Julie has already came in and talked to us, but it's gonna take 40 signs to put on over there for the fair, and she's gonna make those and put the correct wording on it, and they'll be taped on all the doors. There's 40 entryways that have to be done. She's already checked with the Fairway. It says that there's a 3-sided facility has to have a sign, but they instruct her to state that the Fairway, the vendors, you know, in the booths or games and stuff, they don't have to have. So,
my understanding, they put a sign on that employees only.
I don't have a clue. I just go over what she's
Right.
she's the gal that take care of all that, so we let her have it.
So we have a smoke-free fair and, can't smoke within 8 feet.
8 feet of the doorways.
Yeah, that, I contacted her contacted the state, and he was obviously, we kept playing phone tag, he was very confused about my question, but I said, if we have a smoke-free fair, no smoking allowed anywhere on the grounds, should that not take care of it? Because if you've got a smoke-free fairgrounds, and then you have redundant signage that says no smoking within 8 feet of the store, that suggests that if you're 10 feet from the door, you can smoke, which is in contravention of the smoking ban entirely, so why would you need to put those signs that say you can't smoke within 8 feet of the store if the fact is you can't smoke anywhere on the fairgrounds? So anyway, I didn't get anywhere with that, so we are gonna have to put signs up on all these doors, so.
Julie's gonna take care of that though, so, okay.
Of course, signs at the bottom of the hill more.
Yep.
Well, I went round and round with them, and I lost.
There's some
I
signs
fought
that.
the law and the law won.
There are some signs here in the county that some of the county businesses have put up, and they're not legal. The sign that just says no smoking, that's not a legal sign. If it's not worded correctly, it's not legal. So Julie's gonna make sure that all the wording is correctly done. If somebody put up a sign that says, "Thank you for not smoking," which we see a lot, those aren't legal. You can't be fined if you got just those. Don't ask me, I didn't make the rule.
So we'll try to do it the best we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. John?
Now, we went through the thing with Drew Wright yesterday also, and I guess we're gonna have the hearing at our next meeting, 9:30 with Drew, I know that. The budget, hearings are coming up, we all are familiar with the dates and time and all that. 15th through 17th, 8 to 5 in here. And the public hearing will be October, first meeting. I think Sarah or Michelle set that up. The adoption is set for October 18th at 6 p.m. in here. We were introduced to Daniel Walker, the new county extension agent yesterday. Anything else, Dan?
The 3 days of the hearing, that's in September?
August.
August.
Yeah.
Okay,
We always
16th
told
to
them
be.
August. 15th to the seventeenth in this room.
That it? How about it?
I'm good.
Adam?
I'm just your new representative, so to speak, from HMB Professional Engineers. We haven't done a lot of work with Washington County, but we certainly want to look at doing maybe a little bit more. And John and I are very familiar from serving with River Hills, and actually the other John and I are familiar, but we actually did a little business together. So, again, if there's any questions, I've got some information I'll hand you. I'll probably talk to a couple of you about maybe going to lunch or something at another date. But just wanted to be present for your meeting, kind of see what's going on today.
All right, thanks for being here. Abby? I'm sorry, you got your name either.
Les.
Les? Okay. Somebody back there.
No, I don't know anything.
Don't know? Byron? Okay, Rhonda?
I do.
Oh, I knew you would.
Imagine that. Yeah, you'd be disappointed. I have 3 things.
I got a question for you too.
Yes, sir.
I was under the understanding, when you set up this system for us, the calendar thing,
It's not set up yet.
I know, but I was under the understanding that it was at no cost to the county unless you got this other detailed thing that you were describing up at the mayor's office, and it would cost you around $50 a year.
Yeah, 50 or 60 bucks a year.
Yeah. Which-
For as many users as you want.
But the basic thing is free.
Yeah, you can. At least I have one set up like that. So we can go with free.
Well, I understood at the county council yesterday, you told them that it was gonna cost about $60 a year.
$60 a year,
Yeah.
which would be the total.
That's, no, that's what you told me free.
Okay, we can go with the free account. If you want to go with free, that'd be fine. I'm probably gonna hit, well, let me go through my list. Let me go through my list, and then we can go ahead and ask questions.
That was just a question I had.
You're fine, you're fine. I mean, if the county, and I can see where the county would have trouble with $60 a year, I can donate that, that's not a problem with me. We need to get a good, correct, effective, efficient system up for the county. That's what I'd like to see. And so if I do spend my time on it, I want it to work, and I want it to work well, okay? So, and I'm.
What you got? We're okay with that.
Okay, I mean, I haven't set it up yet, and I'm still going over in my head what I want to do and how I want to set it up, because I'm a detailed person, I know that. I can't hardly take it if it's not the way I want it, okay? And so, but anyway, well, I'm gonna go ahead, I haven't had a chance to do it, I will be doing it within the next couple weeks. Business doubled last 2 weeks, so I'm struggling with that. And I'm doing a whole bunch of other things all at one time, but I will be getting at it, okay? And then, if you have any, it's not gonna cost the county anything if you don't use it or anything similar of that nature, but I will be working on it, okay? All right. I talked with, we had a meeting, the land use planning had a meeting last month, right? And the router, I brought this up in the last meeting, I think, that they didn't have access to the wireless because there's no, it's in the city hall, which is the same here in the government building. And I went ahead and spoke with Farm Bureau. I'm on the board, okay? And I said, look, what I would like to see for the government is to have the wireless system, the wireless network that's visible in the government to be masked. You can have it so that no one can tell that you have a wireless system up. And then for Farm Bureau to go ahead and donate enough money to have a router where you can have public access. Okay? That's what I've asked. They, of course, it's initial asking and all that kind of stuff. They needed more information, even if to the point of if you guys are interested. But for security's sake, That's what I would like to see. And I'm not necessarily saying that anyone would hack into the network, but why have it out there where there's a possibility of it? And this has been an issue for the last year. Okay, so that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I deal with a lot of electronics. When there's no real services around in the area, you learn to do, and that's what I've done, is learn to do and what these systems are set up to do. You see what I'm saying? So I'm talking from a background that I've had to set up systems myself, and I'm saying I'm not professional, but that would be a very big bonus on your security for the government, at the courthouse, here at this government building, everywhere. But when you do have meetings in these rooms, a lot of times, and it's going to be more prevalent because we're in the age of electronics and technology. When you do have meetings in this room, wireless access is more than a big bonus. Because at land use planning the other day, she could not get the maps to be pulled up because there was no wireless connection that she could tap into. Okay? So, what I've done, and once again, what I've done is I've asked Farm Bureau that maybe there would be a way to fund a router for the government building, for the courthouse, because that's not really running well either. And then for City Hall, which I'll talk to David and see if he's interested. But if there's interest, there might be a way to fund that, and that way have access, you know, like the newspaper, and all of that. You know, personally, I've already spent like close to $400 so that I can have internet access personally, extra a year, so that I can be out and about and actually stay in connection with my business, which, have I not said, has doubled this last 2 weeks. Okay? So I'm not asking for myself, I'm asking for the community. You don't have to say anything about it or anything like that. You can talk to me afterwards or that kind of thing. If there is interest, I can see if I can't get funding and the equipment. All right. Campbellsburg is on the verge of losing its post office. Okay? And the reason I'm bringing this forward also in this meeting is that, number one, both Sarah and you live in town. There are several things that can happen with this, and from what I've been told, is that they can shut it down completely and take all our carriers to Salem. They can find a business where you can just have a drop-off, okay? Or they can close it down to the point where it's just 6 hours a day. And I don't think they're real open to having it open all the time. Now with the post office, and with the way the economy goes today, and the way it will in the future, most of your business growth will be in internet sales, in internet production, okay? And to be really frank, my business on an average year grosses $60,000 to $80,000 as a part-time job, okay? There is money to be made and businesses to be developed that are low impact. And the only reason that they haven't been like developed or in this area is because they kind of fly in under the radar. Okay? With the loss of a post office, you don't have the support for the common person to go ahead and start up a business and maintain a business. There are, you know, right now I'm automated to the point where it wouldn't affect me that much. I have a customer in Russia. That would be the only one that it would affect. I have to hand write it out. I have to get the slips. I have to, you know, do something similar of that nature. But if you have someone starting out who's frisky enough to go ahead and be in business, low impact, low upfront costs, where they can develop something that will benefit the community, you really need to have that support from the post office. And so I'm going to go ahead and call who I can call and see what we need to do to at least maintain the postal service in Campbellsburg at least the 6 hours a day. Okay? So I'm gonna ask, I may ask for your help. Okay, if we need to have a town meeting or anything similar to that nature, this does impact our local economy. These are real jobs. I am not the only so-called eBayer out there. I'm kind of the iguana of eBayers in Campbellsburg, but I'm not alone in what I do. There's a story behind that. But so that's something else that I'm like running on and stuff like that. Or running on. But that's the impact. It's an impact in the local economy. And if we don't maintain our services, then that leaves. You see what I'm saying? Because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Do you have any more questions on Google Apps?
No.
Okay, do you have any more questions on the Campbellsburg Post Office?
No.
The router?
No.
Does that line right there, you plug into the internet, Sarah?
I'm on wireless right now.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I'm not on it. Because I picked up, I'm on the wireless.
Right.
But that ties into the
But that,
line.
yes.
Well, what about hardwired like that? Is that a hardwired, you can run?
It is, but see, if it's masked, okay, it won't affect Sarah's computer or anybody that's already tied into, has their computer with password already tied into it. I set up a router in my business that would take care of, my business is 200 feet away from the house. Before we could bury a line, because I didn't want tractors running over top of it, it kind of detrimental, you know. So when the ground was frozen, we got our wireless, we got our high-speed connection. And I had a wireless router set up that was masked, that reached over into the house 200 feet away through metal and brick, and gave us like 3 lines, so that my son could actually download movies and that kind of thing. But it was masked, and it didn't matter where we were around with the wireless or whatever. You didn't have to sign in every time. You didn't have to do anything similar to that nature. Thank you.
Marcia?
Nothing.
Tom?
No.
John?
Well, we've already brought up the painting of the Boyles Road. Plan Commission, right now, I just kind of want to give you an update. We met last night and we're really grappling with the agricultural side of our ordinances. And it's eventually going to come to us to make a decision. So I'm just preparing you about setbacks from a home to a poultry operation, and we've also been discussing reciprocal setbacks. And no decision's been made, but the reciprocal setback would be if there's a poultry operation put in that a resident couldn't locate within so many feet of that. And there's reasons for that, and that's, there's a lot of lawsuits that are starting to be filed by people who have subsequently maybe bought a house years after to try to infringe on the poultry operation. So we've got some tough decisions to make. There is a lot of activity right now going on in the county with new poultry operations coming in. I think numbers were thrown around of maybe 10 in the works. So, it is something that affects our economy, but we have to, we're going to be having to tackle those issues on how many feet the setbacks are going to be. The other issue I was going to bring up, and I'm going to let you bring it
$70,000 that we owed, the overpayment to Medicare, and, I'm glad we're able to do that. And that's good news, coming from 1.5 million down to 70,000 plus, so I'm glad that's gonna be able to be taken care of this year, and that's good. That's all I have.
I got just a couple of things before we turn it over to Sarah. As John stated earlier yesterday, we met with the mayor, Drew Wright, Attorney Cyphers, who else was there?
Rick
I
Stewart.
think Marcia came and then Rick Stewart, discussing the animal control of Washington County. A lot of things are being discussed, and we'll have more news for the public a little bit later probably, because that's probably not the only meeting we're gonna have. One thing that I was definitely in favor of was forming an animal control board for Washington County, which would include the city and the county as a whole. By doing this, I can see a lot of money saved. Whenever you, anytime you consolidate jobs, you're starting to alleviate, maybe a part of a salary or insurance or vehicle savings or whatever. And we're still in the process of crunching numbers right now just to take a look at what's being spent out. We know for a fact that Washington County spends out well over $112,000 a year just to maintain animal control. Now, that didn't, I think it went to $147,000, wasn't it, something like that?
Yeah,
It's
I mean, we're both.
way up there just to maintain the animal control in Washington County. It's a problem, it's a big problem, and we need to really take a look at it, see what we're gonna do, see how we can make it a more feasible operation. But one thing that we really looked at very strongly was forming this animal control board, which it's not in the city, it's the whole county. So it would consist of one county commissioner, 2 county council, the mayor, 2 city council, and 1 member from the Humane Society, which gives you a 7-member board, which is the number that we needed. And we really talked that, and anybody that has any comments, I'll be glad to give me a call at home or on my cell phone, either one. But give me a call, let me know your feelings on that. But we really need to take a look at it. I think we're spending way too much money in doing what we're doing, and we need to curtail that in some way. So we're really looking at that pretty hard. We got some other new ideas that we're gonna be trying, that I was talking to Gerald about a little earlier. We're gonna try some different things on some gravel roads to where, hopefully we won't have to re-gravel. We don't know yet, but we're gonna try to experiment with some things that we're doing, and apparently the sealing of the cracks is working pretty well. That's something we hadn't tried, so we're trying it. But we're gonna try things to get more life out of our county roads, because county roads right now, as everybody knows, 10 years ago, it was $20,000 a mile. Then with the oil prices and everything going up, it's up around 60,000 miles. So that's just a big increase. So we've got to learn to either find new ways and become smarter about what we're doing, or try to come up with ways of paying all this big bills that we just can't afford it right now. And we do concentrate on staying within the budget. That's where we need to be. That's all I have. Sarah?
I have one thing I want to bring to your attention. I gave you a copy of this, the catch. The state has changed how this is going to be done. It used to be the catch-up money went into the county general fund. At budget time, it went into the county for miscellaneous expenses. Now the state is saying that that money now is going to be taken out of the county general and will be its own separate fund. So what we're showing, and then the money to be used however you want to spend it then out of the cat. This is just a certified share part. The other parts does stay in the county. This is the certified share part. What this is so me and Michelle, we kind of got together and tried to figure out how best to maybe come up with the amount that we will be getting in certified shares and try to make it a budget item. As you can see, we just went to the commissioner's budget because it's the one that has the biggest amount and the largest amount of dollars in there. And you can see that we took the insurance, the health insurance line, and put it over here, be paid out of the CADGET. And we took the building and structure insurance and put it in there, and then we took the ambulance and put it over here. That was that's basically your three biggest items in your commissioner's budget anyway. This is just an example. You can change this however you want to. You can take it all out, say what you want to put in there.
Do we need a motion on it, sir?
No, you don't need no motion. I'm just telling you this is what, at budget time, you will have to decide for sure at budget time what you are going to put in here. We just tried to make it so and of course it comes up to as you can see, $1.450 million. But this also helps relieve, I think, the reason why they done this, to help relieve some of the problems that everybody's having with the county general fund, which you all know we have problems with our county general fund. So by moving this out, it does, hopefully it will relieve that fund, and then you can still pay. You just have to budget it. But so I just want to bring it to your attention, so when budget hearings are done, if you have something else you want to add to it, or take something out and put something else in, you can be thinking of it. And the only other thing I have is just the claims and payroll.
That will help our county general stay more in the black.
Yes, it will. It should.
I move that accept payroll and claims.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded that we approve the payroll claims and payroll. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Anyone have anything else? Motion been made to adjourn.
I'll second.
And second, all those in favor, raise your right hand.